This is really part of a broader community of scientists and clinicians, many of whom are here tonight and are world-class scientists and clinicians. These are people who have made really significant advances in understanding these disorders that we're talking about. And these scientists and clinicians have come from all over the world. Jean-Francois Bach and Howard Weiner and Mike Racky and Sanjay Keswani and Brian Weinschenker and Jack Antel, just to mention a few, are people who have left their families and traveled from great distances to be here. And Mike Racky gave us a lecture yesterday, and I think it was his daughter's birthday. And he was here instead of being at the birthday of his daughter. And that kind of dedication and part of this community is really amazing. And so I'd like to just thank them for coming from far and wide to this event. Sandy Siegel is going to present the Transverse Myelitis Association Distinguished Service Award.
In 2004, the Transverse Myelitis Association began the tradition of recognizing distinguished service to our organization and our community. Chitra Krishna was so very deservedly the first recipient of this award. Most organizations recognize the contributions that are made by their members or by their employees. It is hard to imagine that there could be an organization that would have more compelling reasons for this recognition than the Transverse Myelitis Association. All of the work that is done by the TMA for our community is performed by volunteers. No one is ever provided with compensation for their work. This is the case for the officers and board members, for our medical advisory board, for our national and international support group leaders, and for the many people who we have in our community who are involved in awareness and fundraising activities. What gets done for our community depends entirely on the sacrifices of time, energy, creativity, and resources of our members. The most difficult part of giving this award is the discomfort we feel about all of the people who work so hard and give so much who are not receiving the award. That we have singled out these 4 families for this award is a reflection of just how exceptional these people are in supporting the important work of the association. These families have been central to the work of the TMA almost from our inception, and their work continues today in spite of the tremendously difficult issues that they face every day of their lives with a child who has been severely impacted with TM.
It's my privilege and pleasure to tell you about the Hog family. Unfortunately, they are not here tonight, but they are with us in spirit. I've known Pam, Morgan, and their children since the 2001 Symposium here in Baltimore. Their daughter, Maria, got TM at less than a year old. From the start, Pam, Morgan, and have been willingly involved with the TMA. From their home in Pennsylvania, they started a TM support group. As the TMA treasurer, I see numerous donations pour in from the Hog's friends and family in honor of Maria. Like all the other families we are recognizing tonight, we cannot thank Pam and Morgan Hog enough for their continued enthusiasm, efforts, and willingness they extend to the other parents of children with TM. I am blessed to call them friends and very proud to present them with this deserving Distinguished Service Award.
I first met Darian and Amy Vitsky at the Children's and Family Workshop held in Columbus, Ohio in 2002. Their son, Jason, was diagnosed with TM before his first birthday. As with any TM case, equipment and adaptive devices are very costly. And as with any child, they tend to grow when they're fed and watered. However, their crutches and wheelchairs and braces don't grow, regardless of how much water we pour over them. Darian and Amy realized that, although some of their equipment had been outgrown, it was still very good equipment. Somewhere there was a little person who could use it. And similarly, there was equipment they needed that somewhere someone was outgrowing. The problem, where are they? How do we let them know we could meet their need, or vice versa? The solution was the TMA equipment exchange. Now, if there's equipment or devices that you have that you can no longer use, through our website they can be posted. And vice versa, if there is something you are looking for specifically, that can be posted also. The potential this international program has to improve the quality of life for children in our community all over the world is immeasurable. We would like to thank Darian and Amy Vitsky for their hard work and great effort in creating and developing this program. We would like them to come up. Just want me to go ahead. Thomas and Jean Hamilton became involved with the TMA soon after their infant son, Kevin, was diagnosed. I'm going to have a difficulty with this, so please bear with me. They unselfishly offer their time and support to not only our association, but to other parents of children who share these disorders. When we identify a pediatric case of TM, one of the first pieces of information we give to that family is the phone number of Tom and Jean. They have helped plan the Children's and Family Workshop in Columbus, Ohio, and have attended many of the association's strategic planning meetings. They have also been very creative and effective in fundraising. They create and organize events under the name of Kevin's Cause, events ranging from spaghetti dinners in their own home to full-blown galas that I hear are quite a hoot to attend. They invite their family, their friends, their colleagues. They don't allow them to say no. Other avenues they have used have been raffles for a one-year lease on a new car, and silent auctions for gift baskets and certificates. To date, Kevin's Cause has raised almost $98,000. We would like to thank the Hamiltons for their efforts.
Okay, last but not least, this speech was actually written by Debbie Capon. However, she read it over again tonight and was so moved she could not read it a second time, so I am reading it for her. Dan, Kathy, Kevin, Matthew, and Rachel are a really special family close to my heart. I met Kathy for the first time at the 2001 Symposium here in Baltimore. She had flown in from Ohio, searching for information to help her newly diagnosed 6.5-month-old baby daughter. Whenever I hear a child or a baby going through the trauma that I have experienced for the last 9.5 years, it is heartbreaking. I met the whole family while I was spending a summer cooling off in Detroit. I was invited to their home in Ohio for lunch. I had never felt so welcomed as the Dorcaks made me feel. Dan took time off from work to join us. The kids were all so sweet. Little Rachel was so cute, playing with her standing frame, then crawling around the kitchen floor. I spent the afternoon with Kathy and Rachel, going with them to witness a rigorous physical therapy that this beautiful baby was going through. They, I mean her parents and the therapists, were willing to try anything and everything to get Rachel walking and getting her muscles fired up. I was really, really impressed. When Rachel was first paralyzed, her older brothers asked Mom and Dad, "What can we do to help Rachel get better?" They came up with the brilliant idea of reading books. They would get sponsors throughout their neighborhood for the marathon book reading. 10 cents a book, I believe. All the money they would raise would go to research and find a cure for TM so Rachel would be able to walk again. Of course, they wouldn't read the books all themselves. All their classmates helped, and I think it became a school district-wide project to be done in March in honor of Rachel's first birthday. During this first Reading for Rachel program, the kids raised over $5,000. I say first because every year in their community, March is Reading for Rachel Month. Dan and Kathy didn't stop there. In their quest for absolutely the best therapies and best doctors for Rachel's care, they have met other families with children going through their same experiences. They share their own experiences with other parents who contact them for help. They could just as easily have concentrated on taking care of just Rachel, taking care of just Kevin and Matthew, but they include the rest of the outside world in their lives. I am very honored to have the privilege of presenting this award to the Dorcak family.
Whenever there is a young child stricken with TM, ADEM, or NMO, within the first 5 minutes of my conversation with the parents, I provide them with Darian and Amy's, Morgan and Pamela's, Dan and Kathy's, and Jean and Tom's names and telephone numbers. I urge them to get in touch with these 4 families as quickly as possible. I explained that there are no parents anywhere who have done more for their children than these families. They will learn more about therapy and rehabilitation options from these families than they will learn from anyone. They've been through it all. And they will receive the compassion and emotional support that they need. These are among the most sensitive, compassionate, caring, kind, and generous people I know, and I know many. And then in the course of these comments, I always get the following intense pangs of guilt. I know that by having a parent of a newly diagnosed child call these families, they are going to review, reflect on, and relive their own experiences with their child. They will have to go through the horrors of the early onset and the incredibly painful challenges that they face every day with their child with TM and with all of their children, because these disorders impact whole families. Everyone's life is dramatically changed. The rest of my guilt is suffered by the thoughts and feelings I have about referring a parent of a child who is having a remarkable and good recovery to 4 sets of parents who had children who were very seriously impacted by TM. I know that this is an extremely difficult experience for them. I feel very badly about all of this, but I keep sending them. And over the many years I have been doing this, these parents never ask me to stop. They never turn down the request for this help. They are always available to help others who very desperately need this help. They understand what these other parents are going through in a way that I can only imagine. What they offer to these parents in the way of information and support is beyond kind and generous. The TMA, in this very small way, is grateful for the opportunity to recognize your invaluable and critical contributions to the TMA community. We love you and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts.